as always. Let's take ourselves in towards the center of the mat. And take a moment just to relax and breathe and generally feel as chilled out as you can get yourself from your day. And we'll start by doing this by taking a nice long breath in through our nose, filling up the chest as much as you can, allowing your shoulders to come back, and then release that breath. Again, another long breath in. And release. We're going to do one more of those breaths. So taking that nice, long, drawn-out breath, filling your chest, filling your belly. And as you exhale, just see if you can let everything go. Any tension, any thoughts. And try and pull your focus towards, first of all, your breathing, just to get it to a rate that you're happy with. And then start to pull your focus to whichever part of your body you most want to give attention to during today's class. Reminding yourself of that healthy balance between pushing and also understanding your limit. Knowing our body is half of the battle when it comes to exercise. Okay, now when you're next going to inhale, draw your arms up towards the ceiling. As you draw out that inhale, reach the hands up nice and tall, and then as you exhale, fold forwards. Good, just stretch out your back. So you may not fold all the way over, you may just fold a little bit, just as long as you can feel your back stretching as you draw yourself back to center. Good, let's take a little twist over to the left. And then a twist round to the right. And then back to center. Good, let's just rotate our wrists in either direction, just to get ourselves nice and loose on our wrists. Good, and then start to flick your fingers. Okay, so go at a reasonable pace here and start to lengthen your arms out forwards. You should start to feel your forearm muscles starting to fire up, and they may also start to ache. So just keep that flicking motion going, really trying to squeeze your fingers down towards the middle of your palms before flicking them out as far away from you as you can. Good, let's take those flicking fingers up towards the ceiling and then back to where they were. Good, let's take them out towards the side. Breathe if you're starting to feel those forearms burning. And then bring them back in. Good, now release those fingers and let your arms drop. Good, take a moment just to breathe a long breath in and then let it go. Good, start to move yourself onto an all fours position on your mat, spreading your fingers nice and wide. Good, we're going to pull our chest so that it's over the top of our fingers, and we are going to slide our legs back. So we come into a plank. Good, now try and press your finger pads down as firmly as possible. Now, if at any point you get tired here, you can always bring your knees to the floor and take a child's pose. But just see how still you can make yourself in your plank. Making sure your legs are nice and strong, so your heels are pressing back, that your hips are not sagging down towards the floor. Good. Now, nice and slowly, we're going to lift our right leg away from the floor. Good, now press that heel back and look forwards. Hold yourself nice and steady. Take a long breath in. Good, and then lower that leg back down towards the floor. Good, same thing with the left. So gently lift it away from the floor. Good. Press that heel back, look forwards, lift the pelvis. Breathe. Good, and then lower that foot down towards the floor. Good, shift the weight over to the right hand. Come high onto the left fingertips. And then just gently hover your left hand away from the floor before switching it over to the other side. Good, once more on each side. So roll over, lift that hand, breathe. And then the same thing on the other side. Good, come back to your plank. Bend your elbows, but keep them close in towards your body. Bring your chest towards the floor. Then pull yourself forwards. Roll over the tops of your feet into a cobra. Good, now open your chest. Smile. Good, then press yourself back towards a child's pose. Now, as soon as you get yourself as far back as you can, pull your hands back towards you. Keep your fingertips pointing forwards. Roll your shoulders back. Look towards the ceiling and lift your chest. Good. Then bring your hands back forwards, down onto the floor. Spread those fingers nice and wide. Tuck the toes and lift yourself up and back into downward facing dog. Good. Take a long breath in here. And then sigh it out. Good, pressing into the right leg, gently float your left leg up towards the ceiling. Good, once you've got it as high as you can, straighten out your right leg and gently draw that left leg underneath you, like you're in slow motion, pulling yourself over the tops of your fingers. Good, tap your right elbow, left elbow, right elbow again, and then draw that knee down towards the floor. Good, we're going to rotate our right heel down onto the mat and then swoop our right arm up towards the ceiling, taking ourselves into a half side plank. Breathe. Good. When you're ready, bring that right hand back down to where it was. Turn yourself back onto your right toes. Now slowly draw that left knee back up towards your right elbow and then slowly extend yourself back. Three-leg dog. Good, before drawing it down towards the floor. Good, same thing on the other side. So when you're ready, inhale, right leg lifts. Good, straighten out the left leg once you get high enough. And then slowly begin to draw that leg underneath you, coming up into a plank. Good, tap the left elbow, right elbow, left elbow again, and then draw that knee down towards the floor. Turning on the back heel. When you're ready, lift, left arm up, open up your chest, press into your right knee, breathe. Good, then when you're ready, cycle that hand back down, come back onto the toes of your left foot, slide the right knee up the left arm, and then take yourself back. Three-leg dog. Lower that leg down. Good. Downward facing dog. Now come high onto the balls of your feet and do slow walking movements up the mat, like you're walking a tightrope, until eventually you get to the top, folded over your legs. Good, start to rock your body from side to side, either with your arms dangling or with your hands on either elbow. Good. When you're ready, roll yourself up. Take the time to feel each vertebrae stacking on top of the other one until you can reach your hands up towards the ceiling for a full body stretch. Good. Before bringing your hands down onto your waist. Good. Making sure that your feet are hip distance apart. We're going to start to take the weight into the right foot, lifting the left leg up. Good. Now start to take that left leg behind you. See if you can find your balance on your right leg into a warrior three. Good. Hold yourself nice and steady. Take the shoulders back. Good. Then start to draw that leg underneath you. Lift the knee. Good. Before sending it all the way back again. Warrior three. Good. One more of those. So drawing this leg forwards. Lift the knee. And then take it all the way back. Good. This time, see if you can stretch that foot right to the back of the mat. So you end up in high lunge footing. Good. Reach your hands up towards the ceiling. Good. Now keeping your hands forwards. Bend over your front knee. Hold it there. Breathe. Good. Now drop your left hand towards the floor. Turn and reach the right towards the ceiling. Good. Use your core muscles here to help twist around. Good. Before bringing your right hand down towards the floor, you take yourself into a runner's lunge. Good. Now shift as much weight as you can into your right foot so you can lift the left leg up into a standing split. Good. We're going to start to draw our hands into a prayer. Drawing those hands up your right leg until eventually you get to your chest. At which point we're going to start to lengthen our right leg up. And then draw the left leg back so you're standing at the top of your mat. Good. Just shake out your right leg. Inhale to lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bending the knees, fold yourself back down towards the floor before rolling yourself all the way back up to bring your hands onto your waist. Good. Let's do the same thing just on the other side. So taking the weight over to your left leg, lifting right knee straight up towards the ceiling. Good. When you're ready, tilt forwards. Hold your abs and chest muscle nice and strong as you lengthen yourself out into a warrior three. Good. Curl the leg back underneath you. Lift it up nice and high before taking it all the way back, warrior three. Good. Curl it underneath again. Keep the breath nice and steady. Good. And send it back. Good. This time we're going to extend that leg back as much as you can, taking that foot behind you, down onto the floor. Lift your arms. Good. Keeping your arms raised. Bend deeply into your left knee. And then reach forwards, bending low. You may find that the bottom of your rib cage is touching the top of your left thigh. Hold it there, breathe. Good. Let's let the right hand drop down to the floor as you lift the left arm up. Good. Keep breathing. Then send your left hand down onto the floor as well. Coming into runner's lunge. Prepare yourself by pressing a little more weight into your left foot so you can lift the right leg up. Good. Once you're nice and stable, begin to draw your hands together and then lift them up towards your chest. Good. When you're ready, level yourself back to standing at the top of your mat. Reach your hands up towards the ceiling before bending deep into your knees, sticking your bum back, coming into a chair pose. Good. Bring your hands back down towards your chest. Turn to the left. You may be able to get your right elbow to touch your left knee. Good. Option here to open the arms to the side if you can, or open them out. Good. Bring your hands back to a prayer. Good. Turn back to center. See if you can sink a little lower and lift all 10 toes away from the floor, shifting all weight towards your heels. Good. Turn to the right. Bring that left elbow on top of the right knee and then flay the arms. Breathe. Good. Bring the hands back. Re-extend all the way towards the ceiling, stretching out your body before folding back down towards the floor. Now come back high onto your tiptoes and do the same thing. So just walk as if you're walking a tightrope all the way back to the back of the mat. Extend out into your downward facing dog. Breathe. Good. When you're ready, pull your body forwards into that plank. Good. Try and hold it just as strong as you did at the beginning of the class. So hips lifted, heels back. Good. When you're ready, let's bring ourselves down onto our right elbow. Turn onto the outer edge of your right foot and make your way into a low side plank. Option here is to lift your other leg away from the floor. Now you can do pumping movements by lowering and lifting, which will really help that V shape that you can get here in your thighs. Good. When you're ready, flip yourself over to the other side. So start by just lifting your right arm up. And then if you feel like it, lift the right leg up. And again, do that lower and lift. Breathe. One more. Good. Flip yourself back over, this time onto both arms. So we're now in a low plank. Look forwards, press your heels back and breathe. Good. A few more breaths. Start to flip yourself over onto the tops of your feet. Then lower your knees, hips, and then lift your chest so you come into a Sphinx pose. Take long breaths in, steady breaths out. Good. When you're ready, slide your hands back so that they are underneath your shoulders. Retuck your toes, keeping your elbows as close to you as you can. See if you can push yourself straight up into a plank and then back into a downward facing dog. Good. Long breath in. Sigh it out. Good. Again, long breath in. sigh it out. One more, long breath in. Sigh it out. Good, when you're ready, right leg lifts towards the ceiling. Straighten out your left leg and bend your right knee. Turn your hips to the side so you're opening them up. And you can maybe see your right foot underneath your left armpit. Breathe. Come high on the left toes. Good, square yourself back to the floor and then curl that right foot underneath, stepping the foot up in between your hands. Good, inhale to lift yourself up into high lunge and then open your legs out into warrior two. Good, now sink into your right knee. Start to bring your right elbow on top of your right knee. Then reach the other arm overhead and try and find as a diagonal a position as you can. So making sure that back leg is nice and strong and straight. Arm is pointing completely away from it. Breathe, hold it there. Option here to drop your right hand down towards the floor before windmilling your arms up, straightening your right leg, pulling forwards with your right hand and taking a triangle pose. Seeing if you can turn and look towards the ceiling. Good, let's bring ourselves back to warrior two. Good, bring your hands to your waist. Turn your front foot, your right foot in, so you're pointing in the same direction as the left. Good, turn the toes out a little bit to the side. Okay, so they're pointing a little bit outwards. Now I want you to do a little test by bending your knees, seeing if your knees start to collapse in. If they do, I want you to try your best to pull them out. Okay, you'll feel it in here, but you want to be trying to stop your knees from bending inwards. Good, let's re-straighten the legs. Lift our arms above our heads and interlace the fingers. Good. Now nice and slowly, we're gonna bend our knees, keeping our back straight and try and open up those knees. Lift all 10 toes away from the floor and see if you can go a little lower. Keep those knees pulling back. Good, keep that bum nice and low. Keep reaching those hands nice and high. Good, before lengthening out your legs. Take a long breath in. Let it go. Good. We're going to do the same thing. See if we can go even lower. So when you're ready, bend those knees. Slowly sink down. Keep that back straight. Lift those fingers. Good. See if you can go a little bit lower. Keep those knees pulling out. Keep that back straight. Breathe. Good. Hold it there. Use your core muscles to hold you nice and strong here. Breathe. Keep those toes lifted. And when you're ready, we're going to bring the arms in. So we're going to lower the elbows and re-reach. Lower elbows, re-reach. Lower elbows, re-reach. Elbows. Good. One more. Extend. Ooh, good. Bring your hands back to your waist. Turn your front foot to face the front. Re-bend into that knee. Windmill your hands down as you unplug your back heel and take yourself back into a plank. Good, lift your hips up nice and high. And when you're ready, lift the other leg up. So left leg lifts, bend the knee, open the hips to the side. You may be able to see your foot underneath your right armpit. Good, square it back to the floor. Curl it underneath. Step that foot up towards the top of the mat. Good. Inhale, let's lift. High lunge. Pivot into the back foot. Warrior two. Good. Begin to sink down into that front knee. Left elbow touches the top of the left knee. And then find diagonal. Breathe. Good. Option to lower your left hand down towards the floor. Good. When you're ready, windmill yourself up. Straighten your front leg. Pull forwards with your hands. And then find triangle by bringing your left hand onto your shin or the floor and lifting your right arm up. Breathe. Yeah, when you're ready, windmill everything back up, rebend into the left knee. And then let's cycle our hands down towards the floor. Unplug your back heel and step yourself back into a plank. Good, hold yourself nice and strong. See if you can endure this last plank. Start to flip yourself onto the tops of your feet. Breathe. Good. Start to lower your knees to the floor. Breathe. Start to lower your hips to take yourself down into a cobra. Open your chest, relax your jaw, and smile. Good, then lift your hips and your knees, retuck your toes, and go back into downward facing dog. Long breath in. As you sigh it out, drop your knees towards the floor, untuck your toes again, and sink yourself back into a child's pose. Breathe. Good, now start to draw your hands back towards you. Like you did before, hands still point forwards. Lift your chest. Look towards the ceiling. But this time, see if you can lift your hips away from your feet. Breathe. Good, and then lower your hips back down. Good, draw your hands forwards. And nice and slowly, make your way back into downward facing dog. Long breath in. Let it go. Good, bring your knees to the floor. Take your hands further forwards, almost off the top of your mat, and let your chest sink down towards the floor into puppy pose. Trying to keep your hips over the top of your knees as much as you can. Good, and then from puppy pose, let's move ourselves forwards and down onto the floor. Good, and you can untuck your toes here and just shift yourself onto the most comfortable part of your mat. Turn your head to the right. Take a breath. Turn your head to the left. Take a breath. Good, and then start to send your hands back behind you, palms pointing towards the ceiling. Good, now when you're ready, take a long breath in, reach your hands as far back as you can to help you lift your shoulder and top part of your chest away from the floor. Press the tops of the feet down into the mat to help lift you up a little higher. Feel this in your lower back. And release. Good. This time we're going to lift feet, shins, and knees away from the floor. But this time using your hands to help lift them higher. So it's the reverse of what you were doing. And then release. Good. This time we're going to do a mixture of the two. So that's arms pulling back, legs lifting. When you're ready, long inhale, lift. See if you can look forwards. Breathe. And release. Good. Turn your head to the left. Turn your head to the right. And then back to center. Good. This time, and the last one of these we're going to bend our knees and take hold of the tops of our feet. Now, if you can't take hold of the feet, you're just going to repeat what you did last time, the stage before. If you have managed to get hold of your feet, this time you're going to kick into your hands to help lift yourself even higher. So when you're ready, take a long breath in and lift. And once you've lifted yourself as high as possible, gently rock yourself forwards and backwards. And release. Bring yourself back down to the floor. Turn your head whichever way you prefer. And breathe. Good. Then start to take your left hand flat out for the left hand side, palm facing down. And then bring your right hand high onto its fingertips with the elbow pointing towards the ceiling. Good. Bend your right knee and then slowly start to roll yourself onto your left hip, either keeping this right leg hovered or, if you can, take it down behind you. And you want to feel a stretch across your left pectoral muscle. And then finally, with your right hand, lift it first of all up towards the ceiling and then down onto your lower back or your bum. And breathe. Lengthen out your left leg and stretch that pec muscle. Before rolling yourself back onto your front and then swapping over your hands. And again, if, like me, you have a wall in the way on one side, you can always cactus your arm and get the same effect. So when you're ready, bend the left knee, roll yourself over onto your right hip, stretch out your right leg, and then slowly lift the left arm up and then take it to place it on your lower back or bum. And breathe. Good, and then nice and slowly roll yourself back onto the floor. Draw your elbows close in towards your chest. Hands down onto the floor. Take yourself into a Sphinx pose. And breathe. Good. Before shifting yourself back into a child's pose. Good. Draw yourself up to sitting on your heels. And then shift yourself round onto your bum, swinging your legs around. And before we move fully down to the floor, we're going to do some ab work. So when you're ready, we're going to lift our legs so that they are away from the floor, toes active. Hands come parallel to the floor. Good. Now you're going to slowly open your legs and straighten them into like a V shape. And you're going to bring your hands into a prayer in between. I appreciate it's an odd looking pose. Good. Then we're going to take it back to where we were. Okay, so open and prayer. Back. Open. Back. Open. Back. Good. Keep these movements going. Good. Last two. Good. And then allow yourself to come down towards the floor. And just take a moment to appreciate how little energy it takes to sink yourself down onto the floor. Allow everything to relax into the mat. And just gather your breath. Good, and then slowly begin to bring your knees in towards your body. Squeeze them up. Good, and then rock yourself gently from side to side. Just massaging your lower back muscles on the floor. Good, now either taking hold of the back of your lower legs and lifting them up like this, or if you feel comfortable to bring your hands towards the floor to help you keep your legs up. We're just going to do some slow motion swimming with our legs. Just gently kicking the air away. And breathing. Good, now start to draw those knees back in towards your chest until they become still. Good, start to take the feet down towards the mat. Hands come down either side as well. Good, and when you're ready, take a long inhale, press your feet into the floor and lift your hips up into a bridge pose. Bring your chin towards your chest. Shift your shoulder blade under. Alternate your fingers. Good. And you come high onto your tiptoes. See if you can walk those feet closer towards your body. Get maximum height. Breathe. Good, and as you begin to lowering your hips, bring your feet back down. Untuck your shoulders and plant your bum on top of your hands. So you're effectively sitting on your hands. Good. Start to stretch your legs out front. Elbows. Lift yourself up onto them, which you should be able to do if you're sitting on your hands. Good. Now point your toes forwards like a dancer. Start to curl your head back. And you're aiming to try and put the crown of your head, which is further forwards than you may realize, onto the floor, so that your chest lifts and opens. Keep those legs pointing forwards and breathe. Before bringing your chin towards your chest and lowering yourself back down onto the mat. Good, just bending your knees slightly and taking your feet to the edges of the mat. Bring the knees to touch. Take your arms over your head and then gently rock your knees from side to side. Nice and slowly. After you finish your next windscreen wiper movement with your knees, bring your knees back towards the ceiling and then let your legs stretch out as you draw your hands down by your chest and then down by your belly and then down onto the floor. Slowly just to let yourself release into the mat. Allowing your heart rate to start to slow. Relaxing your eyes, softening your forehead, and releasing your jaw. And just focusing on whichever area of your breath you most notice. Whether it's where the air rushes in through your nose or mouth, whether it's the feeling of your lungs expanding or your belly lifting. Just bring your attention to that part of breathing you most recognize. And then begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes and your nose. And start to draw a deeper breath in through your nose. And as you do, maybe bring your knees one at a time up towards your chest. And then gently rolling yourself over to the right or the left-hand side. as you gently press yourself slowly back to your seated position. And then let's take a long breath in together. So empty your lungs of all of your air. Take a long breath in through the nose and release. Flutter your eyelids open. Thank you for joining today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, whatever it is that you're doing, although I think we know what. But to each of us who practice today, but most importantly to yourselves, can bow and say, Namaste.